do you think about these people that day trade? Because so many young people, specifically men, are being sucked in by these adverts that you can day trade your way to wealth.
It's not good. I think it's the broker's going to make all the money. Robinhood will do well, not you.
Do you think anyone can make loads of money as a long-term day trader?
I look at it this way. If you study the Forbes 400, the 400 richest people in the US, in the world, actually, I don't see any day traders in there.
One of the last things I want to speak to you about is this idea of circling the wagons.
Yes.
What does circling the wagons mean?
Warren Buffett said that over a 50-year period of running Berkshire Hathaway, he's made hundreds of investments, and only 12 have moved the needle for Berkshire Hathaway. So it's the same 3 or 4% rule, where if we say that Warren made 300 investments, he probably made more than 300, but let's say he made 300 decisions, only 12 have resulted in what we see as Berkshire Hathaway today. And the important thing was not the buy decision on those 12. The important thing was never selling them. So circle the wagons is a term that comes from the 19th century when these pioneers were moving west, the wagon trails moving west, and the native Indians would attack, or bandits would attack these wagon trails. So what they would do is they would put themselves in a circle. Mm-hmm. They would circle the wagons, then defend that circle as best they could with their guns and so on. But the wagons being circled was the best possible way of trying to face off that attack. Mm-hmm. So in effect, they circle the wagons around the crown jewels. So when I'm talking about circle the wagons, what I'm saying is that in a lifetime of investing, there are very few times when you're going to actually have a huge multi-bagger.
What's that?
A big winner. Something that goes up 10x, 50x, 100x. And what you want to do is you want to effectively circle the wagons around that idea so it doesn't get sold. So we are not going to know before we invest whether something is going to be a multi-bagger or not. But we may figure it out after we own it. Mm-hmm. So after we're only going to know a business after we own it. We're not going to know it before we own it. After we own it, we may understand the business well enough to know that this is a great business. And when we figure out it's a great business, you don't want to sell that.
When I meet people like you, I'm always so inspired because we spend a lot of time thinking about the wins, the great decisions. We've talked about that. I've shown you the graph of your great decisions. Yeah. What is the worst ever decision you made in terms of financial performance?
Well, I've had so many zeros. So,
or the one that got away.
So there's mistakes of commission, which is things going to zero, and there's mistakes of omission. The mistakes of omission are far worse. Okay, so the biggest mistakes I've made aren't the ones that have gone to zero. The biggest mistakes I've made are the ones that I sold and I shouldn't have, where I should have circled the wagons and I didn't. And those have been very costly.
Give me one example.
Well, so I think this was in about 13 years back, 2012. I invested in a company called Fiat Chrysler Automobiles. Basically, it was coming out of bankruptcy after the financial crisis. They had gotten rid of all their debt and everything, and the stock was very cheap. It was about $5 or $6 billion that you could buy the whole business. One of the things I didn't pay too much attention to at the time was that 80% of Ferrari was inside Fiat Chrysler. And they owned Ferrari, 80% of it. And But they had many other assets, which I liked. They had the Ram trucks and Jeep and Maserati and so on. And when I looked at the business, I thought the business was worth many times the 5 or 6 billion, even ignoring Ferrari. And I was right. So in the end, I made several times my money. And in 2017 or 2018, they took Ferrari public. So they actually then listed the company. And it looked like that they had captured all the value. And so I sold. I used to own approximately 1% of Ferrari as part of that purchase that I had made. So 80% of Ferrari was in this $5 billion company. Ferrari now has a market cap of almost $100 billion. And I would have about $1 billion more if I had not done that stupid thing. So I made a couple of $100 million on this whole thing, but it would have been a lot more. And all I needed to do was just not sell it.
Do you deal in crypto at all? Do you invest?
It's outside my competence. I don't understand it.
I was going to say, one of the things I noticed about you that's quite rare for someone that deals in billions, is you have a smile on your face. You seem like a really genuinely happy person.
Well, what would be the point of the bees without being happy?
Well, a lot of people aren't, as you know.
Well, then they've lost their way somewhere. I mean, on a daily basis, I specifically ask myself, how do I want to spend today? And I focus on spending it not with the focus on maximizing money. I focus it with maximizing what Monish loves. And that changes all the time, but that's the way it is.
What is that?
Well, currently it's golf.